All right, it's such a delight to be here on News Central Market Pulse on News Central in partnership with Nairametrics. Of course, we're going to break down some of the market activities for the day with a focus on, of course, hike in rates. Yesterday, CBN's decision may not have been expected for some. Some are, perhaps pricing in a hold or a cut. But of course, we saw a raise. We're going to get into that much later on the show. But let's get into activities on the NGX for today. All share index, I don't know, there seems to be some, the bulls, I beg your pardon, seems to be having the markets right now. The markets, all share index is up 0.42% today. Seplat had a hand in that, gaining over 300 Naira, and we know that that's a heavy hitter, so we'll get into that much later. But yes, the all share index is now at 98,987.42 points. Are there enough trading days left in September for us to see us cross perhaps the 100,000 mark, or am I being over ambitious here? We're going to have to wait and see. Market capitalization is at 56.88 trillion Naira. If we come down to the top gainers, like I did say, Seplat seems to be up there. I mean, most notably, of course, we know, where its share price is at and how much of an influence that will have. Again, 10% today, actually. And so, I mean, that's about 370 Naira gain in share price today from Seplat. That undoubtedly did move the markets. We also have Flour Mill. We know there's a lot of news around Flour Mill Nigeria. It has surged over 22% month to date in the 3 weeks of trading since the announcement. So we're seeing it's up there leading up to the announcement, leading up to, who knows, the delisting and the buying out, 10%, gaining 10% there. LF Flakes as well, up 9.97%. Honeywood Flour up 9.87% and ABC Transport 9.57% gain today. Coming down to the top losers list, if we can have that up. Multiverse is down 9.90%. Cavitin also down 9.86%. Mansa down 6.78%. FBNH, it's been a little up and down for FBNH of late, but it's down today 6.45%. And Fidelity Bank, we had seen strong gains earlier. I guess investors are taking profit. It's down today 6.4%. When it comes to the currency, Naira has depreciated 6.13% at the INE window, with interest rates increase definitely bound to have an effect. We'll continue to monitor that and also perhaps even have a conversation about that. South African Rand has appreciated 11% against the dollar amidst gains in key economic sectors from the second through to the third quarter of 2024. Today, it strengthened to a fresh 20-month high against the dollar. Up next, of course, we'll have Pulse of the day. We'll have Taiwo Olatunji, Group Head of Investment Banking, Coronation Merchant. He'll be giving us more insight on activities on the NGX of late, so stay with us. All right, you're still tuned in to Market Pulse. Of course, I'm your host, Joanna Mustafa. And with me now, of course, is Frank for Pulse of the Day. Yes, it's a pleasure to have you in.
Doing well.
It has been, but great to be back. Of course, and back with the news of, MPC meeting and what's happening with that. We're going to get into, its effects on the market. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank has raised the monetary policy rates by 50 basis points to 27.25%. This marks the 5th consecutive hike this year. Additionally, cash reserve ratio was increased by 50%, and these measures, of course, are part of the CBN strategy to control inflation and manage liquidity within our economy. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, we know that they have raised their concerns about forex volatility, which remains a major constraint to their operations. So, limited access to foreign exchange, manufacturers are struggling to meet production demands and manage costs. So, a lot of questions around what this could mean for sectors, and these companies, manufacturers, are listed on the NGX. Joining me now is Taiwo Olatunji, Group Head Investment Banking, Coronation Merchant Bank. It's a pleasure to have you in, Mr. Taiwo.
Hi, Joanna. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
It's a pleasure being on the Market Pulse today.
Yes, great to have you in. So let's dive right in. MPR, MPC decision, and we know that sometimes the market prices in these decisions ahead of time. Had the markets here in Nigeria priced in a hike, hold, or cut? And how do you expect the market and investors to perhaps move in reaction to what some are calling a hawkish move, rate hike?
Okay, with respect to the hike by the CBN, the market expected this. This was partly due to the increase in the price of PMS by the National Oil Corporation, NNPC. That happened, that increase was about 47%, and market had factored that would lead to further inflation. In curbing that inflation, CBN took the right move by increasing rates by 50 bips. What does that tend for the market? I would think there'll be more foreign portfolio investors looking to take advantage through carry trade by looking at higher yields in Nigeria for better returns on their portfolios. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, if you look at what has been happening in the US, we're seeing the rate cut happened over last week and it reduced by 0.5%. But here in Nigeria, we seem to have a contrast. It looks like what is happening, what happened over there, is the contrast is what we're having over here. So between two approaches, what do you think is the way forward? And do you think that this is a way forward for foreign investment in the country?
Okay, so with respect to the two economies, there are two different points in, with their challenges. With the US, they're looking for growth. With Nigeria, we're looking to stabilize the economy. So US took the right decision to reduce rates, while we took decision to increase rates. What does this mean for us? It means increase in the interest rate differential. So in the short term, what that means is that you find foreign portfolio investors looking to take advantage of this increased rates in Nigeria. And they'll be looking to do some carry trades and all of that. While in the long term, if we don't take the right steps through the fiscal side of things, there could be some impact on our FX and that down the line. So two different decisions, two different objectives they're trying to achieve. What does that mean? People will try to take arbitrage of that situation and make some money.
Yeah, indeed. People will, Nigerians knowing them, may want to take advantage of the situation. But you've highlighted an important point, and that's the effect it could have on the currency markets. Manufacturers are already crying out. Could you just spotlight a little more what some of these decisions will have on the forex market and how that could trickle down to manufacturers and even some of those companies listed on the NGX?
Okay, so given the last 1 year, what has happened in Nigeria? Working capital requirements has increased for all manufacturers. So it's doubled or tripled for some manufacturers. And that means last year, maybe they required 20 billion throughout the year to produce. This year, that has gone up to 40 billion, given the impact of FX and the inflation and the hikes. So what they need more capital. Two, they need more FX, or they need to be able to get FX to do their business. So in the short term, demand might be capped, given the need for more capital and as they rebalance their books. But in the medium to long term, as they're going to raise capital, put in more capital in their business, we think manufacturers who have the right plan will balance out and they will survive this downturn.
Nigerians doing what Nigerians do best, right? Adapt and survive the downtimes.
Okay, if you look at what has been happening, the NGX, I think the NGX is literally taking a look at what happened in the first quarter of 2024, and we're seeing that this fourth quarter, edging into the fourth quarter, the NGX has picked up momentum. What is your projection as we head into the fourth quarter, especially considering market trends over the years in Q4?
Okay, so typically as we get into the last quarter, people start looking closely at public companies because we get closer to the earnings season, which is typically Q1. And that's where bank will declare full earnings and what they plan to pay as dividends. So typically in Q4, as we go into December, we see more activities in the capital market, and that goes on into Q1 of the next year. So what do I expect? I expect some more activities as people start taking positions to see if they can make some money on the stock market and position themselves for good dividends from some institutions. And I think the year, the capital market should end above 100,000 for the all share index.
Do you see it being, a best performer as it was in H1 for H2?
That I can't predict, but I'm saying I'm sticking to that. It would be above 100,000.
Okay.
For the NGX.
All right, we'll see about that. Before we let you go, I mean, Flour Mill Nigeria has been in the conversation quite a bit lately, and obviously, there have been a number of delistings this year. Latest on the list, the 30th most valuable stock on the NGX, Flour Mill Nigeria, in a buyout that is expected, to happen later on. And of course, I'm going to quote what was said. It's expected to improve FMN's management efficiency, decision-making capabilities by allowing the company to operate with more agility. This is coming from the GMD. He also said the restructuring will enable the majority shareholders to better align FMN's entities with its unique characteristics. And of course, he went on and on. But, there's some that are saying perhaps this could point to, a larger trend. And also, I mean, how would you assess FMN, the company, right, considering it was first listed on the exchange since 1970? How would you say it has fared as a publicly listed company? And do these shifts perhaps represent a larger trend?
Okay, so for flour mills, I think it's a good decision. Nigeria is in a turbulent time economically. What they are basically doing is to go private so that decisions they need to take, they can take them much faster. Now, if you look at public companies, by nature of you being a public company, your memorandum, your MEMAT, which is your memorandum which guides how you operate the company, typically you need to get shareholders approval to take some decisions. Flour Mills is saying we're in a turbulent and things changing from day to day. I cannot wait for my shareholders every time to take some key decisions to be efficient. So while I know that it's seemingly that I'm not supporting the Nigerian capital market, let me do what it takes to survive, to be efficient, to grow. And I'm sure, look, with the right environment, they could be back in 5 years listing on the stock exchange when they've gone through this turbulent time. So for now, I think it's a strategic approach to become efficient, to take some faster decisions, and to get the company right, as they go through these turbulent times.
All right. I mean, decent enough. We'll see how that pans out for Flour Mill Nigeria. Thank you once again for joining us, Mr. Taiwo Olatunji, the Group Head Investment Banking, Coronation Merchant Bank. It's been a great show, a short show, but a great show. Frank?
Thank you, Taiwo. Great thought over there.
Yes, so we're going to have to call it a day today. Of course, it was a short but straight to the point show today. It has been Market Pulse here on News Central in partnership with Nairametrics. We do this usually, right, every weekday from 4 p.m. I am Joanna Mustafa.
And I'm Frank Fagbo.
Tomorrow.